Part 1. The Summoning. Commander Jace Varro had seen many strange things in his years as a mercenary for the Galactic Frontier Corps, but nothing had prepared him for her. The message had been simple. You are summoned to the Obsidian Spire. The Lady Nerissa requires your service. No explanation. No contract terms. Just a set of coordinates leading to a derelict space station orbiting a dying star. Jace had dealt with aristocrats, warlords, and rogue AIs. But the Obsidian Spire was different. It was old. Older than human civilization. And the woman who ruled it was something beyond human. When he stepped into the grand hall, the air hummed with an energy he couldn't name. The walls pulsed with bioluminescent veins, and at the center of the chamber, seated on a throne of living crystal, was her. Lady Nerissa. Her skin was pale as moonlight. Her hair a cascade of silver that seemed to move on its own. Her eyes, gods, her eyes, were pools of liquid mercury, shifting and swirling with unseen depths. She wore a gown of woven shadows, clinging to her like a second skin. You are the one they call the Iron Wolf, she said, her voice like silk over steel. Jace inclined his head. Depends on who's asking. A ghost of a smile touched her lips. I have need of your particular skills. Jace crossed his arms. I don't work without knowing the job. Nerissa rose from her throne, her movements unnaturally smooth, as if gravity didn't fully apply to her. She stepped closer, and Jace caught the scent of ozone and something sweet, like the air before a storm. I require satisfaction, she murmured. Jace raised an eyebrow. If this is a proposition, you could have just said so. Her mercury eyes flashed. Not that kind of satisfaction. She turned, gesturing to a holographic star map. There is a beast in the void. A creature that has haunted my people for millennia. It is waking. And I need you to kill it. Jace studied the map. A pulsing red orb marked a distant sector. The dead zone, a place where ships vanished without a trace. Why me? Nerissa's gaze locked onto his. Because you are human. And humans adapt. Part 2. The Revelation. The journey to the dead zone was silent. Nerissa's ship, the Eclipse, was a living vessel. Its corridors breathing, its walls whispering in a language Jace didn't understand. On the third cycle, Nerissa summoned him to her chambers. You are curious about me, she said, pouring a dark liquid into an obsidian cup. Jace shrugged. You're not exactly standard issue. A faint ripple passed over her skin, like water disturbed by a stone. I am the last of my kind. The Zalthari. Jace had heard the name before, in myths. The Zalthari were said to be beings of pure energy, shapeshifters who could bend reality. But they were supposed to be extinct. Nerissa's fingers traced the rim of her cup. We were not always like this. Once we were mortal. Then we evolved. And the beast. Her grip tightened. It is what we became when evolution went wrong. Jace leaned forward. You're sending me to kill one of your own. Nerissa's eyes darkened. It is no longer one of us. It is hunger incarnate. And if it wakes fully, it will consume this galaxy. Jace exhaled. You still haven't told me why I have to be the one to do it. Nerissa's voice dropped to a whisper. Because it cannot see you. What? Humans are invisible to it. Your minds are too chaotic, too unpredictable. Feeds on order, on logic. You are neither. Jace smirked. So you're saying my insanity is my greatest weapon? Nerissa's lips curled. Precisely. Part 3. The Hunt. The dead zone was a graveyard. Derelict ships floated in the abyss, their hulls scarred by something massive. The Eclipse shuddered as they neared the epicenter, a black hole with a heartbeat. "It's here," Nerissa said, her voice tense. Jace checked his plasma rifle. "Any last-minute advice? Don't let it touch you." Then the eclipse screamed. Something colossal slammed into the ship. The lights died. The walls bled. Jace stumbled into the corridor just as the hull tore open, and it slithered in. The beast was a nightmare of shifting flesh, 1,000 eyes blinking in and out of existence, limbs forming and dissolving like smoke. It had no true form, only hunger. Jace fired. The plasma bolts passed through it harmlessly. The creature turned its gaze on him, and hesitated. Nerissa was right. It couldn't see him. Not fully. Jace grinned. "All right, ugly. Let's dance." Ran. The beast followed, its form writhing in confusion. Jace led it through the ship, baiting it, taunting it. He could feel its frustration, the way it lashed out blindly, unable to lock onto his mind. Then he reached the core. The eclipse's heart was a pulsating orb of energy. Nerissa had told him what to do. Jace primed a fusion grenade. "Hey, bastard," he shouted. "Catch!" He threw the grenade, not at the beast but at the core. The explosion ripped through the ship. The beast howled as the energy backlash tore into its unstable form. Reality itself twisted, and for a moment, Jace saw the truth. The creature was a reflection of the Zalthari, a dark mirror of what they could have been. Then it shattered. Part 4. The Aftermath. Jace woke in a medbay. Nerissa stood over him, her silver hair dulled, her eyes weary. "You did it," she said softly. Jace groaned. "Remind me not to take jobs from you again." Nerissa's hand brushed his, a touch so light he barely felt it. "You were the first to survive." Jace frowned. "There were others. Many." Her voice was hollow. "They were orderly, predictable. The beast consumed them effortlessly." Jace laughed weakly. "Guess being a chaotic bastard paid off." Nerissa's lips curved. Then, to his shock, she leaned down and pressed her forehead to his. A Zalthari gesture, one of gratitude, of connection. "You are unlike any being I have ever known," she whispered. Jace smirked. "Yeah, well, don't get used to it." But as she pulled away, he saw something in her eyes, something that hadn't been there before. Wonder. And maybe, just maybe, the first flicker of hope.